Welcome to the Candidate Forum for Peekskill Mayor, hosted by the League of Women Voters. I'm Terry Lucan, co-president of the Northwest Westchester League. Since 1920, the League of Women Voters has been a nonpartisan, grassroots political organization working to protect and expand voting rights and ensure everyone is represented in our democracy. We do this through advocacy, education, and litigation. The League does not support or oppose candidates or political parties. We are fully committed to ensure compliance in principle and in practice with the national organization's diversity, equity, and inclusion policy. Membership is open to everyone 16 years of age or older, men and women, and non-binary folks. In tonight's Candidate Forum, you will have the opportunity to listen to the candidates' views about significant issues in the community so you can make an informed decision in the upcoming election on November 4th. Early voting is in progress. It began on Saturday, and it ends Sunday, November 2nd. It's at over 25 locations in Westchester, and you can find the locations and times either on our website, LWVNWW.org, or the Westchester County Board of Elections website. Before we begin, I welcome the candidates this evening, Ramon Fernandez and Vivian McKenzie. Our moderator for this evening is Kathy Meany from Ossining, and our timekeeper is Yura Mohan. The forum will be recorded, so I will take a moment to review the League's recording policy. Only the videographer authorized by the League may record this forum. Under no circumstances may candidates or attendees record the proceedings. Any authorized use of the recording requires advance approval from the League of Women Voters. Only licensed media, including TV, radio, and newspapers, are entitled by FCC regulations to air portions of the recording. Anyone else who broadcasts or streams it must do so in its entirety. The forum will be recorded and posted on our website and the League's YouTube channel. And on YouTube, the recording can be translated into any language for those of us whose first language may not be English. And now I'd like to welcome our moderator, Kathy Meany. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Terry. It's really a pleasure to be here this evening. We're in the middle of election season. I have to tell you, the League of Women Voters of Northwest Westchester, for what, our second year? We have come out gangbusters. This is our 6th forum that we're running. We have one more to do Thursday night. So I just want to thank all the volunteers because we're a volunteer organization. So they've been great. They've been great. Okay, so tonight we have 2 candidates running for the City of Peekskill Mayor in alphabetical order. Your candidates are Ramon A. Fernandez and Vivian C. McKenzie. So let's go over a few of the ground rules. And let me move this a little bit here. There we go. Go over a few of the ground rules. Okay. The order of opening statements will be in alphabetical order. Being we have 2 candidates this evening, the drawing of lots will not be necessary as we will begin in alphabetical order and then rotate accordingly. So the order of closing statements will also be in the reverse order as the opening statements. And let me just make one change here. There we go. Throughout the forum, comments of a personal, abusive, or unruly nature will not be permitted from either the candidates or the audience. The moderator will rule this behavior out of order. Please hold all applause until the end of the forum. Each candidate has up until 2 minutes for an opening statement. Candidates then have 1.5 minutes to answer each question. Each candidate will be allowed 2 rebuttals during the event, and the rebuttal time is 30 seconds. There will be no responses to the rebuttals. The timekeeper, put your hands up, show your signs. You're right over here in the front. Timekeeper will indicate when 30 seconds is remaining, and again, they will show the stop when the time is up. Candidates may finish their sentence, but not go beyond the stop time. Questions from the public were submitted prior to the candidates' forum by electronic form and have, in some instances, been combined with other similar questions on the same topic. Once collected, questions were vetted by the League of Women Voters of Northwest Westchester. Candidates did not receive the questions prior to the forum. No questions of a personal nature are permitted, and the audience will not be able to submit questions or comments during the forum. At the conclusion of the question period, each candidate will have up to 2 minutes for their closing statement, which, as I mentioned, will be in reverse order of the opening statements. Candidates may not use text messaging, email, social media, or any other form of electronic communication to or from others during the forum. Candidates may not be coached or receive informational messages via electronic communications or on paper. Only the videographer authorized by the League may record this forum. Under no circumstances may the candidates record the proceedings. No photos or video recording is permitted by the audience either, so please put your phones away. However, before we get started, if you'd like to take a picture of our candidates now, before we get started, go ahead. I'll give you a few minutes. So smile, candidates. And also, let's give them a round of applause, too, as they're getting started.
After the 12th round.
One more. That's it. You in the back. You're finished. I see you. Okay. Now, let's begin with opening statements. You have 2 minutes to give your opening statement. Good luck to all the candidates. And again, we will begin in alphabetical order with Mr. Fernandez.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ramon Fernandez, and thank you to the League of Women Voters to be here and conduct this debate. I think this is a good example of what the democracy looks like, because it is a great opportunity for the city of Peekskill and the residents to see the value for the democracy, they can choose and choice for who they want to run the city. As many of you know me, I've been driving taxi in the city for 19 years, so I have a well-knowledge about what's going on in the city as a community person, as a father, man of faith, and as a person who worked and built a youth soccer club for the community, as a person who created and was the president for the first president for the Peekskill Hispanic Community Corps to try to build bridge between the Hispanic community in the city and the entire community, I feel proud to be here tonight and be your candidate in option for this election. This election, for me, is focused about the basic thing. It's about the service, it's about the sidewalk, it's about the trash, it's about the road condition, and it's about the safety. Because as like you, many of you are here, you walk in the city and you know how hard it is to be walking on safety. So in this election, you're gonna have the choice to select who's gonna be improve that issues or who can keep on doing the same thing as many years doing. Thank you very much, and I'll be here for you and answer the question.
Thank you very much. Ms. McKenzie.
Thank you. Good evening, Peekskill. I'm Vivian McKenzie.
It's right now.
Hello? Yes. All right, you guys are rowdy. Okay. So good evening, I'm Vivian McKenzie, and I have the honor of serving as your mayor. Thank you to the League of Women Voters for organizing this forum and for all of you for coming out this evening. When I was elected, I became the first Black woman ever to lead this city, and that's a milestone. Representation matters. That's why I fought to bring greater diversity to our leadership, including appointing Peekskill's first African-American judge, our first Hispanic judge, our first African-American firefighter. Our department heads now look like and represent our community, and all employees are now given the opportunity to apply and interview for positions within City Hall. And our part-time staff is now paid at or above the New York State minimum wage, not the federal minimum wage. That did not happen before I became a councilperson. From the start, my mission has been to make Peekskill work better for everyone. From the moment I stepped onto the Common Council in 2012, I committed to rolling up my sleeves and doing the work. And I did, not because the job was owed to me, but because I believe in Peekskill. We revamped our building permit process to make it more efficient. We launched a new youth camp program, which I championed from our early days, and we've created a quality of life committee that meets the needs of our city with our city manager. With my corporate background, we've bought job evaluations and performance systems. So today, our employee records aren't empty files. They're real tools for growth and accountability. We've opened City Hall, encouraging public comment and input on city businesses. We've created boards and commissions staffed by our residents who have so much experience and creativity to offer.
Thank you, Ms. McKenzie. Thank you very much. All right, so now let's begin with the questions for this evening. Mr. Fernandez, we will begin question number 1 with you. What are the most significant challenges facing Peekskill?
I think improve the city service is the first main challenge. Trash in downtown is something that a lot of people are complaining, and everybody who walk in downtown who can see that. Sidewalk, it is unsafety for people who are disabled, for younger kids, and even for people who just go with the baby in the trolley. And safety and the traffic light is something that we need to improve. But I think that's the main issue, like people are asking, and even some kind of open door in the city hall and transparency, I think is another thing that the challenges. That's the main challenge.
Okay, thank you. Ms. McKenzie.
Sure. I think the issues we're facing are housing affordability and enough housing, public safety. Our city is safe, but we do need to look at our sidewalks. We do need to look at crosswalks and infrastructure. We are a city that is growing, and we're growing quickly, and we need to make sure that our infrastructure can sustain that. So when we're looking at, our water systems, our plumbing, and things of that sort, we need to make sure that we are keeping up to date with the way that we're growing.
Okay, thank you very much. Next question, we begin with Ms. McKenzie. Given the demands that new housing places on Peekskill's infrastructure, how will you balance the need for more housing with maintaining affordability and the quality of life for current residents?
So in terms of infrastructure, as we're building, we are now asking developers to take accountability. So we can't possibly do all of the infrastructure that we need. So part of the building process, part of the application process is making sure that developers are taking part of the infrastructure. For instance, on Water Street, where we're looking at the new buildings, those buildings can only be done if we're holding the developers accountable for part of the infrastructure, and that's what we're putting in the deals.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Fernandez.
Yeah, when we can talk about affordability, and I feel like I am the champion for that, because I was the council person who introduced the affordable housing ordinance in the city, and it was passed. So now any developer who comes to the city, coming to new building after 10 units, had to be 10% for that unit be affordable. And I am proud to be the person who introduced that resolution, and it was a big fight. We have a discussion at some point. It was supposed to be 20% or 10%, but as my interest to have that resolution here, ordinance in Peekskill, I just agree with the majority with the 10%. But I think as a renter that I am, I know I have a very, very clear know that how hard it is for Peekskillian to be here in Peekskill and afford the rent. I know how many people they are moving forward because they cannot afford the rent, or maybe they cannot afford, they cannot buy a house over here. So I think it's something that I'll be working, and we have a discussion about the good cause vision that I am glad that we have that discussion now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. And candidates, just a reminder, speak into the microphone and look at your audience, okay? Because we want to make sure everything gets picked up in the recording. All right, we start with you, Mr. Fernandez, with the next question. Do you support the New York State Emergency Tenant Protection Act, which allows municipalities to opt into rent stabilization for certain buildings?
Yes, I do. I just mentioned about the good cause vision, and I think we need to move forward that and support here on local in Peekskill. There are more than 50% renters in the city of Peekskill, so I think it's very important for that.
Thank you very much. Ms. McKenzie.
So while we want affordability, the Rent Stabilization Act does not affect many buildings in the city of Peekskill. I believe it's before a certain year that the building had to be built and have a number of units. So therefore, there may be 2 or 3 of these buildings that would be affected, would not solve our affordability issue. And the rent stabilization is not good cause eviction. They're 2 totally different things.
All right, thank you. Ms. McKenzie, we begin with you next. The Wynn Waste Trash Incinerator Plant, formerly known as the Wheelabrator Plant, is over 40 years old. Many environmental organizations are calling for its closing. Do you support the closing of the plant? And if so, what do you propose as an alternative?
So if we could be a zero waste community, I would absolutely support the close of Wynn Waste. Unfortunately, you and I, all of us together, need to learn how to produce less trash. And until we have an alternative, what do? I've lived here all my life. I lived here when we had that beautiful world called a landfill. It's a dump, and it stunk. It was awful. And if that's what the alternative is to go back to, then I don't see that as being the alternative. I think we need to work with this company to make sure that they are meeting the standards and higher for what they're doing, and also work with them to teach our community and help us so that we can become a zero waste community. Because if we don't learn how to get rid of garbage, there are no other alternatives than landfills and burning centers that we have.
All right, thank you. Mr. Fernandez.
Well, I remember that a few years ago, we have a very large meeting and with many organizations and for the Peekskill, for the community. I remember NAACP was there, the environmental committee, and we have a good conversation with that for the member and the staff of that company for Wynn Waste Incinerator. I think the reality is that we cannot change that thing just like that, because we need to have a more efficient and different kind the collection for the garbage. And even the renewal for the city is going to be affected. But I think the contract is going to end in a few years, and for me, we should create a task force to work with the county, to work with the community, to work with the environment and involve everybody, the environmental community, to make sure we have better quality of life, but even that we have a better revenue from that company. Because as I know, they have 14 companies, 14 incinerators around the country, and they provide different kind of benefit for the municipality. Sometimes they provide electrical garbage truck and different kind of thing. We should work on that from now and don't wait to the end for the contract.
Okay, thank you. Ms. McKenzie. Would you like me to repeat it?
I answered that.
Oh, you did? I'm sorry. I'm already on the next question. How about that? Mr. Fernandez, next question. If the Wynn Waste Plant closes, what plans do you have to replace the pilot? Payment in lieu of taxes, revenue of approximately $6.7 million.
And I will say that's more than that, because if you calculate the water service, is around $2 million that the city received from them. But I don't see that would be possible now, and I just mentioned about that we need to create a task force to work with the community, with the county, and why not with the state, to see how we can improve our quality of life and how we can change the system that we collect the trash. I mean, that's the only way that we can do it. I don't see that will be happening right away.
All right, thank you. Ms. McKenzie.
I would agree. I don't see it closing, but we also have to realize that it's not so much about creating a committee, it's really making the company accountable to the community. So while they employ a tremendous amount of people in this area, and they do give back the steam that comes for White Plains Linen and the water that we speak of, we need to make sure that they are meeting the standards and making sure that they're above the standards and making sure that they're working in the community to teach. They've done different pilots. They're a company that's very open to community service, and I think we need to drive harder into that to make sure that they are showing up in the community and teaching and giving resources to the community.
All right, thank you. Next question, we begin with Ms. McKenzie. Our nation feels deeply divided. Peekskill is also facing divisions as frustrated residents feel they have little input into their government. How can you reassure citizens that you'll not only fight for a stronger, better Peekskill, but also use your voice to build trust and foster a sense of unity?
This is a community that is so diverse, but very inclusive. And no matter what happens in this community, I don't care what you look like, we all come together and we work together. It is important that we make sure that our police department is in the community and working with the community, and people can feel that. It's important that people can know that they can come to City Hall. My office is open. The city manager's office is open. You can come to a meeting. You can come and stand and speak about anything you want to speak about. You can set up a meeting with me. You can set up a meeting with the city manager. You can also go on social media. I don't answer social media, but some people out there do. It's important that you know that you have a voice and that our community only works with your voice. And I've always been inclusive, and I've always been available to anybody who wanted to speak. And we are doing that with our community, with our committees, making sure that people come in and help make the decisions that we're making in the city. Because a lot of you are experts on things that some of us have no idea about. And we need to make sure that we have you on the commissions that make sure that these things happen.
Thank you. Mr. Fernandez.
I agree that Peekskill is a really, really huge diversity community. I think it's one of the largest in the north of Westchester. So, but I think there's a lot of situations that create some barriers. And I know, and I'm very clear, like language is one of the big barriers. We have the largest Latino community, Hispanic community here, and sometimes it's hard to be communicated with someone else on somebody else. But as a taxi driver, that I always say there's an advantage to me to provide service to the community. I have a contact with everybody in the city. There are no barrier for me to go to any neighborhoods. It doesn't matter if it's a low income, it's a high income, and any kind, the race, the faith, and I am glad for that. I think we need to be as a sample for the nation, and I think we can do it. Many small communities created that example in the history for the United States, and I think it is the time now for Peekskill to show how we can work together and be more closer.
Thank you very much. Okay, next question. We begin with Mr. Fernandez. Sustainable waste management and litter are significant issues in our city, which impact the quality of life, tourism, and ecosystem health. Will you commit to hiring more Department of Public Works and park workers to maintain green spaces, especially those for riverfront events, and to moving towards a zero waste practices?
I will start for the first question. I know it's hard to just say, okay, I'm going to increase the workers and or laborers in the DPW. We just have started the discussion and presentation for the city manager, and he said that he's going to hire more people and then to the end of the presentation almost, and now it's not going to be possible because there are some difficult to increase the budget. Unfortunately, that's what I heard from the last year, like DPW is always discriminated, and I don't think that could be continued. It should not be continued like that. We need to increase the budget for the DPW. We need to focus on how to provide service, but we need to educate the community. We need to increase the code enforcement and combine that situation to provide more service. I know that we need, with one of the things that I've been talking is to standardize the garbage bin around the city and to have a pilot project for on-the-ground collection system in downtown, like another municipalities doing, and even outside the United States.
All right, thank you. Ms. McKenzie?
Yes. Could you repeat the question?
Absolutely. Sustainable waste management and litter are significant issues in our city, which impact the quality of life, tourism, and ecosystem health. Will you commit to hiring more Department of Works and park workers to maintain green spaces, especially those for riverfront events, and to moving towards zero waste practices?
So yes, so the rate increase that we had last year actually brought us 2 more DPW workers. I don't think it's the number of DPW workers, it's the way the DPW works. And we just had this conversation, and we need to make sure that we are utilizing what we have to the fullest, and that comes down to management. And so we have spoken with our city manager, and as we're revamping the DPW department, as you know, we have an interim person who's working there now, we're looking at different ways of how we set the workforce out. That being said, the garbage that we're seeing on the street is not the garbage that you and I are dropping into the garbage can every day. We have a lot of overcrowding in the city of Peekskill, and people are told that if they live in these homes, to not put their garbage in front of their home. So they're coming into the downtown and putting their household garbage into our garbage cans. We have garbage pickup in the downtown 7 days a week. And I can tell you, if we pick up the garbage at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, at 4 o'clock, the garbage cans are full again. So we are working hard to do that, but we all have to take a part of that. And so it's a matter of making sure we're settling the overcrowding and making sure that people are doing properly, making sure that our management is working the right way, and that our DPWs are staffed the way that they need to be.
All right, thank you. So, Ms. McKenzie, we begin with you next. There are many empty storefronts in Peekskill. Supporting boutique and basic service businesses strengthens our local economy, creates jobs, and enhances quality of life. What are your plans for building a vibrant and resilient economic ecosystem?
So one of my plans is to start charging landlords so it's not economical for them to have an empty storefront. So in today's world, you can write off. If you have an empty storefront, that's a tax write-off for you, and it's less than what your taxes are. If we can put a fine on those storefronts that make it less worthwhile to have that building open, then we will have people in those storefronts. Even if we can get the building owners, we have artists, amazing artists. Why not let an artist decorate your storefront or be in your storefront so that it looks like there is business there? There are a lot of things that we can do to fill the storefronts, but we really have to crack down on the landlords who don't want to rent them or who are vacant and not here in the city of Peekskill, and that would be one of my priorities.
Thank you. Mr. Fernandez.
I think the first thing that we need to focus is how we retain the current small business in the city of Peekskill, because that's when you had to be communicating with them. You had to know what is the need they're asking, what is the city can do for them. I think to have a better direction for the economic development, to have a really inventory about how many storefronts are empty now, what is the potential business that we can bring to the city, is something that we need to be focused on that. But as a mayor, if I elected, I would be have a communication with every single business. Sometimes many of the business, they're not participating in some of the organizations like the B or the Chamber of Commerce. I will be try to encourage them to organize into them, because it's not easy to have a contact directly with each of them. But if there are no member for it, those organization, we need to talk with them. We need to listen. What is the thing they need? And I don't think that happened now, and I will be changing that.
Can I rebut that?
Yes, go ahead.
As a small business owner myself, I know the trenches of what it's like to own a business in the downtown. I sit as a board member on the Chamber of Commerce. I have gone to businesses and tried to get them to come in to join those kind of things. You can't tell a business owner how to run their business. They need to want to run their business. And I think a lot of times in the city of Peekskill, we have business owners that are crying that they don't have any business when they're not thinking outside of the box of how to get business in. And I think that's where we need to focus on helping them be stronger business owners and having priorities. I got to stop.
She's very obedient as well. That's great.
Can I answer that?
You want to rebut?
Yes, please.
Okay,
I mean,
go ahead.
When I say that we need to increase the communication, I remember when many of the business was requesting to just remove the place that we have at the flea market. For the mayor, it was the expression in the Herald that say the business, they should not run what the city is going to do or the business or the bid. I think we need to make sure that we have a direct communication for them, be open, and just listen. And when we listen, then we can take decision to improve the business. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. So, Mr. Fernandez, we begin with you next. The Indian Point nuclear plant is being decommissioned, and the process will continue for many years. Holtec, the company responsible for decommissioning, intends to release about 1.3 million gallons of radioactive water into the Hudson River. This plan is opposed by New York State, many environmental groups, and also the League of Women Voters of Westchester County. What is your position on this issue and on the opinion of some that the plant should be reopened?
I remember that I was working with members for the different environmental groups. I remember that we created a video with David Carbone to acknowledge the community. With Tina Bongar, it was me, and I was doing the translation to speak to the Hispanic community around the area. Obvious, I am against to that, and if you go and walk on the riverfront, you can see a sign who say, like the Native American, they call the Hudson River, the river who runs in two ways. And unfortunately, last year, there was a guy who unfortunately has a mental illness and dropped in the river, and it was in the winter time. And he did it right here in the riverfront, and the body appeared 3 months after in the spring. It was in Cold Spring. And when I heard that, when I saw that, I said, the Native American, they say the truth. The river runs in two ways. So if they drop at that, even in South, we're going to be affected. And obviously, I'm going to be against that, and I'm going to be support the state senator, the assemblywoman, and even the governor and the entire environmental community.
Thank you. Ms. McKenzie.
Could you read it again?
Absolutely. The Indian Point nuclear plant is being decommissioned, and the process will continue for many years. Holtec, the company responsible for decommissioning, intends to release about 1.3 million gallons of radioactive water into the Hudson River. This plan is opposed by New York State, many environmental groups, and also the League of Women Voters of Westchester County. What is your position on this issue and on the opinion of some that the plant should be reopened?
So the answer is quick and easy. It's no, and it's no. And it's your responsibility, my responsibility, to keep us accountable and to keep all of our legislators accountable, whether we need to march wherever we need to be, but we need to continue to say no, that this is our river and we don't want it. It should not be here. It is not healthy. And we need to stand up and continue to say no and fight.
Thank you. All right, next question. Ms. McKenzie, we begin with you. The New York Immigration Coalition has shepherded the New York for All Act, which helps immigrant New Yorkers lead more open lives and limits state and local cooperation with federal immigration authorities under special circumstances. Do you feel Peekskill should or should not codify its own policies about cooperation with federal immigration enforcement? Why or why not?
So in the city of Peekskill, we do not do federal immigration. Our police department does not do federal, it's hilarious, but they do not do warrants unless it's a criminal warrant that is signed by a judge that they have to do. If ICE comes into the city of Peekskill, our police department does not work with ICE to do that. And more times than not, we don't even know when ICE is coming. We may know after, when ICE is done, they will let our police chief know that they are there. We are not here to frighten our community. We are here to work with our community, to make sure that our children can go to school and not be worried, that our parents can go to the grocery store, that they can work and they can live a human life. No matter what is happening in Washington, that is not what is here in Peekskill. And I think everybody on this council, everybody feels that way, and that's what we are putting forth in Peekskill, that we support our immigrants, no matter where they come from.
Thank you.
Was it 30 or is it not?
You still have 30 seconds. Mr. Fernandez.
Yes, I think for me, even I born in New York City and grew up in Dominican Republic, I have the real feeling that how means to be an immigrant. I had the real feeling to be like a day by day working, talking with the immigrant community. It is hard and horrible how the fear it is in this community. I can tell you, it is hard. But it's not now that we've been working in that. As I mentioned in the beginning, I was one of the founders and first president for the Peekskill Hispanic community, and it was 8 years ago in the previous administration, the Trump. And one of the reasons it was to try to create that bridge between the community. Unfortunately, when you have a leadership to provoke and promote a hate, you're gonna see some people to try to do the same. But I think we can do it much better. Peekskill never is gonna be working with the state. We are the champion in working. We are the second municipality who endorsed the green light bill, and I am very glad that we introduced that 8 years ago, and now everybody can have a driver license if you pass this test. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Fernandez, we begin with you next. Residents are concerned about speeding, double parking, misuse of electric bikes, poor condition of sidewalks and crosswalks, and dangerous intersections. What is your vision to improve pedestrian safety and walkability here in Peekskill? If you become mayor, will you promote organizations like Peekskill Walks and/or institute reforms that make Peekskill safer for pedestrians?
Of course. 2 years ago, I brought the initiative to create a bicycle and pedestrian advisory board in the city. Everybody, the majority, was agree. But unfortunately, the leadership in the city didn't move forward. I don't know why, until now. But even if some of the grants that we are applied to the federal level required to have that kind of board, nothing has happened yet. But one of my basis point is about the sidewalk. I've been knocking door, I've been talking, my wife is here, she walks in La Placita, and I had to be honest, I mean, walking with her and knocking the door in the senior plaza, I feel like she should be the candidate because she's more popular than me in the seniors. And it was many, many doors when the people told me that, you know what, I opened the door because her. And then I don't feel jealous, but I feel very proud. But that's something that the seniors are complaining more because they have a lot of injuries. And I think we can create some kind of plan to doing some district improvement in the sidewalk. And I think just talking about the senior, the student and the community to the train station, we can start in that. But first, we can start with the city sidewalk property that we need to focus on that. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. McKenzie?
I need you to repeat it.
That's fine. Residents are concerned about speeding, double parking, misuse of electric bikes, poor condition of sidewalks and crosswalks, and dangerous intersections. What is your vision to improve pedestrian safety and walkability in Peekskill? If you are elected a mayor, will you promote organizations like Peekskill Walks and/or institute reforms that make Peekskill safer for pedestrians?
So as mayor, I do support Peekskill Walks. They have some really good ideas and are really working hard in the community. In terms of the bikes and the scooters that we have, we are working with the police department and our school district to do how we teach our kids and our adults the importance of a helmet and street safety in terms of bikes. We can't just say don't ride on the sidewalk, because if they're in the street, they're at risk of getting hurt. We can't say police officers pull over every bike that you see and call the parents, because kids run and then you have other issues. In terms of double parking, in terms of speeding, due to Kathy Talbot, we just received the signed bill legislation from the state that we can now introduce traffic cameras, red light cameras, so that will do look at speeding and look at people running lights, so that's really important. And then the other thing is, when we talk about sidewalks, unfortunately are the responsibility of the property owner. So we need to work with programs so that we can help our property owners fix our sidewalks. And then I would also say that, Councilman, you may have started a program, but you tried to pull yourself away from something that you've been there for 8 years, and if it was really important, you should have pushed forward to get it done.
All right, thank you very much. Next question, we begin with Ms. McKenzie.
Can I answer to that?
You
Can
want
I
to rebut?
respond? Yeah.
Okay, it's your
Yeah.
final rebuttal. Okay.
I just want to mention it that I've been working with the community Peekskill World Safe Route to the school group, and then teaching to the kids. And it's not like nobody is doing nothing to show how do you do that, to how you use a bicycle, to how you use a helmet, and go to the school every month, and the parents too. So doing my job, I can tell you that I've been forced, I was introduced the ordinance to amendment to the sidewalk and ice.
Okay.
And increase the fine for that. That's my job, and I did it.
Okay, your 30 seconds is up. Thank you. All right. So next question, Ms. McKenzie. Many citizens are concerned about the discrimination lawsuits filed by employees against the city of Peekskill. What action has the city taken to address the problems with discrimination?
So we have recently done a lot of training within our departments. I can't really speak on, because anyone can allege discrimination, but until a lawsuit comes forward and it's settled, you don't know if there is discrimination. So I'm not going to sit here and say there is discrimination. I am going to tell you that we are working with our department heads to make sure that everybody has a fair right at work and that no one is discriminated against.
All right, thank you. Mr. Fernandez.
I think we have a lot of lawsuits, unfortunately. They're putting in danger of fiscal future years in the city. And we need to improve education. We need to the legal department, to teach in the human resource, to teach in the health department, and even every single department people, to make sure that we don't have too many lawsuits like we have now. Not just for discrimination, but there are different kinds of things that we are facing now that it should be resolved for that. More education, and obviously we need to increase that budget for that.
All right, thank you. Mr. Fernandez, we begin with you. If you are elected, will you make Esther Place permanent? And then secondly, what is your position on the renovation of the Kylie Youth Center, and where does the project stand?
I will start for the last one. Kylie Center until now has a project for the Boys and Girls Club. I know there are many concerns for the most for the Peekskill Housing Authority tenants, but mostly for the Bowman Towers. I was talking yesterday with one of the young people and was very glad when I see him. He recognized my daughter. He graduated in 2017, and he was very happy to talk about that. One of my main concerns that I say, and I did it in the public meeting in the seniors meeting, that if the city move forward that and the housing authority, when we doing the deal to, because the city had to be agreed for pass the property in that way, that we need to claim that every single young person on the housing authority have a waiver, and that had to be permanent, because the Boys and Girls Club, they charge into the people, and we need to make sure that program coming to the city had to be free for the Peekskill Housing Authority, Jewish people.
Thank
I didn't
you.
answer the other one, sorry for that.
Oh, go on. Do you want to answer the other one?
The other one, it was about,
Esther Place, do you wish to make it permanent?
is up? Okay, so I think we should do that. We cannot have the Esther Plaza street for a limbo for 5 years. My proposal was to create a pedestrian street, because now we cannot provide service. You don't know if the park and rec or is the DPW that provides service. So we need to do that and move forward.
Okay, I was going to say, now your time's up. Okay. Ms. McKenzie.
Sure. In terms of the Kylie Center, there's $7 million that's sitting in a coffer on a shelf somewhere. There are plans that could make the Kylie Center a beautiful building. There are plans, we wanted a Boys and Girls Club, but it could be for any organization. The county has put in money, the state has put in money, the city has put in money from the DRI. We're waiting for the Housing Board to relinquish the building. And when I say relinquish, they're not getting rid of the building. They have to go to HUD, and HUD has to release it, and then HUD can say, okay, you can rent it to someone else. Housing Authority will not lose their building. The building will stay the same, but inside will be a beautiful building, classrooms, computer rooms, kitchens, running water, heat, air conditioning, all the things that our children need to make sure that they have the opportunity of a lifetime. And for people to sit back and say, oh, this person's not going to get in, oh, this job is not going to be here, is absolutely ridiculous. John and Mary, coming from the surrounding community, is not coming here because they have the opportunity. They have the dance classes. They have the computer classes in their neighborhoods. They're not coming to Peekskill to pay to go to our Kylie Center. Our kids need a Kylie Center that has all of the opportunity that they can get, whether it be a Boys and Girls Club or whether it be the YWCA, but an opportunity for them to flourish.
Thank you very much. All right, next question, Ms. McKenzie. We only have 2 questions left. So time flies, doesn't it? So, Ms. McKenzie, citizens have expressed concern about the poor execution of several city projects. Despite calls for real change, the outcome has not improved. As you are both members of the city's Common Council, how will you assure citizens that new projects will deliver better results for the people of Peekskill?
So I think first you need the facts. So the people who come to the podium every day and they complain about the Fleischman Pier, or we didn't do this or we didn't do that right, you need the facts. We did the Fleischman Pier. We went according to what the plan was. But you know what? Sometimes there's a hiccup. And at the end of the hiccup, we had to make sure that we fixed it. I'm in the middle of a process now in a building. Everything doesn't go according to plan, but you have to be able to pivot and fix it. Our plans are open. It's not like the council is sitting there and determining that this is going to go here or this is going to go there in terms of plans. We have engineers, we have professionals who are doing the work. And when it comes back to us and if there's something we have to fix, we have to fix. We had a $5.5 million project at Fleischman Pier, and they're complaining about $70,000 for ballards that had to be fixed. It happens. We are running fiscally strong as a city, and I will not say that everything is perfect, but we do a really fine job of getting the projects done. And I would say take a look at your city and see how beautiful these projects have come out. Won't say we're perfect, but we're doing a darn good job.
All right, thank you. Mr. Fernandez.
Can you repeat the question, please?
Yes. Citizens have expressed concern about the poor execution of several city projects. Despite calls for real change, the outcome has not improved. As you are both members of the city's Common Council, how will you assure citizens that new projects will deliver better results for the people of Peekskill?
When I say, and that's something that I've been talking in the campaign, to open City Hall doors, and it's really to be open in two ways. I mean, we need to, like if we now receive the people coming in the Common Council meetings and everything, and the people can go to the City Hall, but we need to create better communication, town halls, not only for the official elected. We need the staff to go out with us and talk with the community, because we ask, and we are running here, Mayor McKenzie, me running for mayor now. They're running for council person, but the reality is the government that we have is not like a strong mayor. It is city manager. So when the city manager went to talk with the business on Bank Street, many of them, they say, I never saw the city manager. So as a mayor, I'm planning to have that communication with the community, to see and listen to them, because there was something like when we talking about the public spa, there was no restroom. And then when we start to doing public activities, the community say, hey, we need restroom over there. So if we have a better communication with the community, some of that problem it will be resolved first. Or even after, we cannot be afraid when the people coming with complaints or any kind of issue. Thank you.
Thank you. Would you like to rebut? Okay.
So we have a city manager who's on TV every Monday, four Mondays a month. He's seen, so people know who he is. Our projects are open. Our city hall is open. All of the projects that happen, the DRI, that was a community project. That wasn't the council. As a matter of fact, the council couldn't even go to those meetings. It was all community. It was your input that built Pugsley Park. It was your input that's talking about the hub that's going to be in the downtown. It is your input that did Fleischman Piers. So we have a very open community. Can we be more? Absolutely. But we are all open and we are here for your conversation.
Thank you. All right, our final question, we begin with Mr. Fernandez. What would you add to improve the quality of life for the people of Peekskill?
As I mentioned from the beginning, talking with the community, listen to the community. But the first thing that I've been including is that the city manager is working with community, quality of life community. But any other council person is part for that. That committee should be participant for the public at some point and for the council, because we are knocking doors. We are going to talk with the community. And when the people coming to us, they claim about what the cities need. So what is the point? If we don't have a participation in those meetings, they're not really open City Hall. And for my view, we need to work and focus on the basics: sidewalk, road condition, trash, and transparency.
Thank you. Ms. McKenzie.
I need you to read it.
What would you add to improve the quality of life for the people of Peekskill?
So I would continue with the quality of life committee that we have, but putting more police officers on the ground so that we have community policing. We need to have officers not just on Thursday through Sunday evenings, but they need to be in our downtown, they need to be more in our schools, and they need to be in our neighborhoods to really make a community neighborhood throughout the city of Peekskill. And not as a police detail, but to actually be a part of the community and talking with the community so that our children know in the beginning that these are police officers and that they're your friends. And also, as we're looking at our downtown, helping our business owners thrive and really filling the storefronts, because those are the things that matter in the city, bringing in economic development. So,
All right, thank you. So as we begin closing statements, the candidates will have 2 minutes to give their closing statement. As stated earlier, we will reverse the alphabetical order for closing statements. So Ms. McKenzie, you may begin.
so tonight you've heard a clear choice. I'm the leader who has done the work, who understands this community, and who will keep Peekskill moving forward, not with promises, but with progress you can see and feel. This is not the time for change for the sake of change. It's the time for steady, proven leadership, the kind that keeps our city strong through challenge and change, and I'm that leader. Together, we've built more than 300 new homes, real places for real people, at 645 Main Street, the largest affordable housing project in this area in decades. From Park Place Tower to South and Smith Streets, we're creating homes for seniors, working families, and young professionals who are the heartbeat of the city. We've invested in the foundation of Peekskill, $10 million in sewer upgrades, $8 million in water infrastructure, and $5.5 million to transform Fleischman Pier into a waterfront we can all be proud of. We've turned the financial page. Our fund balance is up, our debt is down, and our strong bond rating proves your tax dollars are being managed wisely. We've strengthened public safety, hiring new police officers and firefighters, and ensuring our workforce reflects the people we serve. We're leading on climate action, cutting over 1,100 tons of carbon emissions every year. And none of this happened by accident. It happened because I show up, not just on Mondays for a meeting, but in every room where decisions are made. Through my work with NICOM, WOMA, and the U.S. Conference of Mayors, I've built relationships that keep Peekskill at the forefront and open doors for this community. Peekskill is on the right path. Let's keep moving forward together. I'm Vivian McKenzie, proud to be your mayor and honored to keep working for you every single day. And today, I am asking you for your vote, and not only my vote, but the vote row A all the way. Thank you.
All right. That's it. Hold the applause. Hold the applause. We'll get there. We'll get there. Mr. Fernandez, your closing statements, 2 minutes.
I want to say thank you again to the League of Women Voters and all the public here present and everybody who's going to be the opportunity to see this video. As I said in the beginning, it is time now, yes, but it is time now for fix or sidewalk. It is time now for improve of city service. It is time now for have a better quality of life. And now, like I said also in the beginning, this is what the democracy looks like. Because 2 years ago, we didn't have that. When you have somebody who run a government, who lead a government, and they don't feel like accountability, and because nobody's gonna run against the person, that's not democracy. So now we have the opportunity, and the city of Peekskill, the border has the opportunity to keep the status quo or to change the real situation that we are facing for years. So, and that's the reason because I say that asking for you to vote in the local party line, focus on local issue, and it's gonna be in the line E, and that's what I'm asking for your vote and your support. Thank you very much, and have a good night.
Thank you. Okay, now you may applaud for both candidates, all right? For both candidates. Okay, as we are closing, a couple other announcements. I again want to thank the many folks who worked together to make tonight's candidates forum possible. Thanks go to the Peekskill Firehouse for providing and preparing the venue for this candidates forum. Thanks go to Jeremy Goldsmith and Chris Lucan for the video production and technical setup. and also for the candidates for their willingness to serve in public service. I also want to thank our timekeepers, Yura Moen and Terry Lucan, and to all of you who are our community involvement. Again, early voting is taking place now until Sunday. You can vote at any one of the 25 poll locations. However, on Election Day, November 4th, you must go to your assigned poll location to vote. I also want to make mention that last week's League of Women Voters of Westchester County's County Executive Virtual Candidates Forum can also be found. It was recorded last week, and it is at the LWVW.org website. Don't forget to check out Vote 411 for all ballot information, candidates information, polling information, all of it. The recording of tonight's Candidates Forum will be available for viewing on our website, which, as Terry Lucan mentioned, LWV-NWW.org, and we should have it in the next day or two, have it posted. And then finally, information on how to join or donate to the Northwest Westchester League of Women Voters is available on our table outside the auditorium, or again, please just go to our website. So, that concludes the Candidates Forum for this evening. Good night and have a safe trip home.